What's up, Steelers Nation? Before we dive into today's huge story, let me just remind everyone why we're here. This entire offseason, your Pittsburgh Steelers front office has been working overtime. This team is pushing hard to improve, to get stronger, and to deliver the kind of results that Steelers fans deserve. Whether it's trades, free agency, draft picks, or creative contract work, the Steelers are showing that 2025 is all about getting better. And here on the channel, we're matching that energy. So before we jump into this breaking update, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now to help push this video to more Steelers fans. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on breaking Steelers news. So for weeks now, we've all been talking about one big name floating around the trade rumor mill. Jalen Ramsey, the former All-Pro cornerback from the Miami Dolphins, has been linked to Pittsburgh more times than I can count this offseason. Fans love the idea. The media keeps connecting the dots, and every time there's a new report out of Miami about Ramsey being available, Steelers Nation jumps right back into the speculation. But here's the thing. This entire conversation may be about to end before it even really starts. And the reason? A familiar face from Steelers history. Mike Hilton. That's right. The buzz right now is that the Steelers may be considering a reunion with Mike Hilton, their former standout slot corner. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox just spotlighted Hilton as a logical fit for Pittsburgh, especially with the Steelers still needing help at slot corner. Let's be real. The Steelers have done a great job rebuilding the roster this offseason. They've added pieces at quarterback with Aaron Rodgers, brought in DK Metcalf at wide receiver, and made smart moves on the defensive line. But one position that still feels like a question mark: slot corner. Right now, the competition is wide. Open between Beanie Bishop Jr., Brandon Eccles, and Dante Kent. Are those guys talented? Yes. Are they proven starters? Not quite. And that's where Mike Hilton enters the picture. Hilton spent the first 4 seasons of his career right here in Pittsburgh. Undrafted, overlooked, but he carved out a role as one of the most physical, instinctive, and reliable slot corners in the NFL. After leaving for the Bengals in free agency back in 2021, Hilton continued to build his resume, proving year after year that he belongs on the field now. Entering his 9th NFL season, Hilton is a free agent again, and according to multiple reports, he still hasn't found a home for 2025, given the Steelers' need in their front office history of bringing back familiar faces. This reunion feels like something that could happen quickly, plus let's not ignore the financial side. Hilton wouldn't break the bank. At this point in his career, he's most likely looking at a 1-year prove-it deal, something very affordable for Pittsburgh, even with their current salary cap crunch. Now, Steelers fans, let's circle back to Ramsey for a second. The big narrative over the last month was that if Pittsburgh wanted to upgrade the slot, they could trade for Ramsey and plug him in there. But with Mike Hilton now very much on the radar, and with Ramsey's high salary demands, and with Pittsburgh still needing to figure out TJ Watt's extension, the math doesn't add up anymore. In fact, unless something major changes, it looks like the Steelers are going to pass on Ramsey and focus their resources on more affordable, targeted moves like bringing Hilton back. And while we're talking cap space and priorities, let's talk about TJ Watt. This remains the biggest offseason storyline behind the quarterback situation. Watt wants a new contract, and not just any contract, according to reports from Tim Benz and Chris Adamski of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Watt wants a deal that surpasses Myles Garrett's monster 4-year, $160 million extension with the Browns. That means we're talking at least $41 million per year, if not more. And here's where things get interesting. Chris Adamski suggested this week that the Steelers may need to get creative to pull this off. Maybe voidable years, maybe fake year 5 non-guarantees, maybe bonus restructuring. Whatever the trick, the goal will be to make Watt the highest paid defender, while not blowing up the Steelers' future salary cap. And remember, the Steelers need to figure this out before July 23rd, when veterans report to training camp. Look, we've seen it before, back in 2021. Watt staged a quiet hold-in, where he showed up but didn't practice until a deal got done. If something doesn't happen soon, we could see a repeat of that this year, and with other big-name pass rushers like Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson also in line for new deals. The longer the Steelers wait, the more expensive this gets. So here's the big picture takeaway, Steelers Nation. With everything the front office has done so far, Pittsburgh is just a couple of smart moves away from being viewed as a real contender in the AFC. They've got the defense. They've upgraded the quarterback position. They've added firepower at wide receiver. And they're working behind the scenes on the Watt deal. Now, the focus shifts to filling the last few holes. Slot corner is one of those holes, and a Mike Hilton reunion. Honestly, it's starting to make a lot more sense than trading for Ramsey. After weeks of speculation, drama, and drawn-out negotiations, Aaron Rodgers is now fully in the building, and he's grinding. According to a new report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, speaking via SportsCenter and Sports Illustrated, Rodgers stayed after minicamp to get in extra work with teammates and coaches. And this isn't just going through the motions. Folks.Fowler says the Steelers are pumped about how Rodgers has stayed in shape despite being away from the team. During most of the offseason program, they finally got that concretely set up, Fowler said, and really, they're pumped because they feel like Rodgers has remained in good shape despite being away from the team. For a 41-year-old quarterback, that's exactly the kind of news Steelers Nation wanted to hear. Coaches around the league are taking notice, and it's not just Pittsburgh's coaches noticing. According to Yahoo Sports, NFL coaches around the league are now quietly admitting that this Steelers team just became a whole lot more dangerous with Rodgers under center. One veteran NFL offensive coach even said he's the best quarterback they've had since Ben Roethlisberger. We'll see how the body holds up, but I think he's going to help them immensely. That's a huge statement. Steelers fans have been through the Kenny Pickett, the Mitch Trubisky era, and even a few weeks of Mason Rudolph magic. But now, with Rodgers in the fold, this offense has a veteran leader with real Super Bowl experience and elite-level pocket presence. Mark Schlereth drops a bold take on Rodgers. Armand, get this, former NFL offensive lineman and current analyst Mark Schlereth just doubled down on Rodgers. Talent. During a Yahoo Sports segment, Schlereth talked about how he preps for games by breaking down coaches' film from 3 previous games each week. And when he got to Rodgers, his reaction was simple. Damn, Aaron can play. Schlereth then described watching Rodgers throw the ball during pre-game warm-ups, comparing it to watching a varsity quarterback compete against JV kids. That dude can still rip it, Schlereth said. That's the kind of comment that gets fans fired up. We know Rodgers has lost a step with his legs, but when it comes to arm strength, velocity, touch, and football IQ, there's still gas left in that tank. But let's be real, there are concerns too, of course. Not everyone is 100% sold. An anonymous AFC executive recently spoke to ESPN and offered a more cautious take. Yes, Rodgers brings elite arm strength and next-level field vision, but the age and mobility concerns are real. Look, the mobility is an issue. There's no doubt, the executive said, but where he helps them is with the plus arm strength and the field vision from the pocket. They haven't had that. I'm not sure that will be enough, but the offense will at least be respectable. And let's be honest, Steelers Nation, that's been one of our biggest problems since Ben retired. We've lacked true field vision from the pocket. We've lacked a quarterback who can consistently stretch defenses. Even a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers with limited mobility should still represent a massive upgrade. Rodgers' playoff record, a reason for concern. But now, let's address the elephant in the room. Because yeah, Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's got 4 MVPs, but when it comes to the postseason, his record since 2010 isn't exactly flawless. After starting his career with a 4-1 playoff mark, including that Super Bowl run, Rodgers has gone just 7-9 in the postseason since. Some fans and analysts wonder, can Aaron Rodgers really lift this Steelers team when it matters most? Especially in an AFC loaded with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and now even young guys like C.J. Stroud making waves. It's a fair question. Rodgers' playoff inconsistency is part of his legacy, no doubt. But then again, he's never had a defense like this Pittsburgh one. T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, Darius Slay, Joey Porter, Jr. The Steelers' defense is built to keep games close, and now the offense finally has a quarterback who can make game-changing throws in big moments. Rodgers mentoring Will Howard, a bonus for the future and let's not overlook this little nugget of good news. Even as Rodgers is settling in, he's already working with rookie quarterback Will Howard. Reports say Rodgers has been giving tips, coaching points, and leadership guidance to the young QB during practice sessions. This is huge for Pittsburgh's long-term future at quarterback. Howard learning under Rodgers could be the start of something special down the line. Steelers offense ready to surprise. So here's where we stand, Steelers Nation. With Aaron Rodgers staying after minicamp to put in extra work, with national analysts raving about his arm strength and leadership, and with this defense ready to wreak havoc, the Steelers might be 1 or 2 moves away from shocking the AFC in 2025. We'll keep monitoring Rodgers' health, his chemistry with the receivers, and the ongoing contract talks with TJ Watt. But for now, seeing Rodgers grinding like this, it's exactly what Steelers fans needed to see. So now I'm kicking it over to you. Do you want to see the Steelers bring Mike Hilton back? Or would you rather the front office swing big for Jalen Ramsey, even with the financial risk? And how concerned are you right now about the TJ Watt situation? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to be tracking every twist and turn of these storylines right here on the channel. So, before you go, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Steelers update. Thanks for watching, Steelers Nation. And as always, here we go.